Welcome to another Spot On Chat. I'm Rebecca Monet with Zorkel Profiles. Zorkel provides profiling tools to franchisors and franchise brokers that helps facilitate a right fit between a prospective franchisee and a franchise concept. With me today is Tom Scarda. Tom is a certified franchise executive and he's the brains behind the Franchise Academy. He's also a host of a very popular podcast called Franchise FrontRunner. He's an author of three books, one called Franchise Savvy, Six Strategies for Pros, Strategies Pros Use to Pick a Top Performing Franchise, The Magic of Choosing Uncertainty, and The Road to Franchise Freedom. And recently, you won the Top 100 Global Influencers and Franchising Award, and I think that's just fascinating. It's about time. Welcome, Tom, to Spot On Chat.
Well, thank you. It's such a great honor to be on Spot On. This is so great, Rebecca. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm having so much fun. So I actually want to talk about something that may seem a little awkward and seem a little weird, but I recently read one of your recommendations on LinkedIn, and this woman was going on and on and on about how fabulous Tom Scarda is. He's part statesman, he's part mentor, he's part this. And yet, Tom never seems to think he has arrived. And it struck a chord in me because I see you the same way. I see this incredible talent, and then I also see this part of you that doesn't see all these wonderful facets of yourself. There's a humility, there's this endearing quality of just thinking you're being yourself, but you got all of these facets that really are making a huge difference. So I guess here's my question. Do you see yourself as a Renaissance man? Do you see yourself with all these other facets, and how is it that you kind of hold some of it back?
Well, that is like all that stuff you just said just makes me kind of shrink and blush and like, wow, because I don't see myself like that. I'm just a guy from Brooklyn. Forget about it. So, I mean, I just, I'm just trying to make it day to day. I mean, I see different things that I want to comment on or make better, but I feel like I'm just a regular guy.
Yeah. And that's the part, honestly, Tom, that's so endearing is you see yourself as just a common guy, a guy from Brooklyn doing what he does. You don't see the impact you have.
Mm.
And so I find that kind of fascinating. So let's explore that just a little bit. Do you think there's maybe two sides of you? There's that rough and tumble motorcycle Brooklyn guy, and then there's this savvy businessman that wants to help people make a wise and informed decision. And then there's also this kind of mentor that helps others in this same space, whether it's franchisors, franchise consultants, franchisees, to step up their game. Do you see those parts in yourself at all?
I'm going to say not really. As a franchise consultant, as I speak to people that are thinking about getting into franchising, I'm really more trying to help them make a change than buy a franchise.
Right.
Buying a franchise is not the end result, but I always share with my candidates that your choice as we speak is not the choice between franchise A or franchise B. That's not what this is about. What it's about is the choice between uncertainty or unhappiness. Most people choose unhappiness and they stick with, the lousy job, the commute, the stupid boss, and they don't take a chance. And the funny thing is when you take that chance, magic happens. And it's, unfortunately not scientific, right? We can't prove it out in a mathematical model.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take that leap, all this stuff, you're choosing faith. And
Yeah.
so if you want to get spiritual about it, you can, but it's, all these forces come behind you because you're doing something most people won't do. And you don't need smarts and money because look, I did it. So I was usually successful in franchising, and I didn't graduate college even. I dropped out 3 times in total. And so it and I didn't come from money. My dad was a cop, all of that. And so I just feel like I want people to see, here I am, tattoos and scars. If I could do it, you could do it too. That's like my message.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a wonderful message. It makes things authentic and real. And it also creates a wonderful trust between you and your client that says this is a real person who's gone through real experiences and isn't afraid to talk about both the successes and failures and the lessons along the way. I like this point you made, Tom, about uncertainty versus unhappiness, because I do think most of us will choose slight uncomfortableness and slight unhappiness over stepping out of that comfort zone, let's call it,
Mhm.
and going into business, or at least taking some kind of risk to explore that. Are you noticing that kind of is a universal thing? Do you notice more recently that uncertainty or that fear of uncertainty is worse today than maybe what it was in the past?
Oh my goodness, great point. 1,000%.
Is
Yes.
it really?
The, I think the world in general is more uncertain than it ever was if you choose to believe the media. If you really think about it, it's about the best time in the world to be alive.
Hmm.
When else can we make a vaccine in 6 months time for a pandemic type of calamity? When you think about it, the average life expectancy only 200 years ago was like 34 years old. and
Hmm.
and so now it's really a great time to be alive. It's the best time to be alive. The technology, the conveniences, everything that we have, unless you choose, because everything is a choice. If you choose to think about the dark stuff, and there's always been dark stuff, but now it's amplified because of social media, and we find out about it in real time as things are happening. So it just feels overwhelming, and so
Oh,
people feel
yeah,
uncertain.
it's so true. So this to me is a bit of a mindset conversation to some degree. Um, and which takes me back to uh, Dr. Diekman and some of the things that he taught you. And those of you that haven't listened to Tom's earlier uh, little podcasts with me, you want to go back and learn about Dr. Diekman. But this mindset sounds like you had adopted it. Okay, I'm willing to step into uncertainty. I'm willing to take some risk, knowing that I'm, gonna take some risks, etc. But I got to get out of this other situation or move into something more profitable, more rewarding, more whatever it is. This mindset. How do you, in your consulting, get people to adopt that idea, that idea that says, yes, you're going to be uncomfortable, yes, things are uncertain, yet this is the best time ever to go into business?
Yeah, it's not an easy task. Let me tell you, it's probably the hardest thing somebody could do is tell somebody, oh, it's fine. You can spend
Fine.
$100,000 on a franchise. You're going to do okay, um, because it is uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen. Um, but to me, the alternative is just not an option.
Yeah.
So I just try to show people, through my own examples of how I made a lot of left turns while everybody was going right. I went left, and even in a small, minute ways, like when I was working in transit, there's a way to go up the ranks. You
Yeah.
do this progression, but I zigzagged across different um, departments, which no one has really ever done. And I was, working on the marketing of the MetroCard. When we got rid of tokens and went to the MetroCard, I'm on the, I don't know anything about marketing, but I knew about the railroad. And so they were like, well, what will people think when they're swiping their card going in at 34th Street? You know, so I was able to kind of bring that kind of knowledge to that team. But my point is that when you make crazy turns, I guess, I don't know, lack of a better term that we could use, but it just wonderful things happen, and you meet people that you would have never met before if you stayed, you know, in your lane. So when you change lanes, that's when you really impact not only your own life, is what I realized, but I have impacted so many lives by the choices I've made in a very positive way. So when somebody buys a franchise, they create 10 to 20 jobs. They become an economic engine in their neighborhood, right? So in my smoothie franchise 20 years ago, a guy and a girl met, got married, had kids, all because I decided to quit transit and buy a franchise. That's why that happened.
Wow.
Right? So things like that, like, you know, they say the butterfly flaps and feel that wing flap around the globe.
What a wonderful way to look at it, this trickle effect that we have. But it means we have to change lanes. It means we have to look at another way. If we stay in this same lane, we're going to get the same results and deal with the same people. But it requires going into another lane, which means stepping into uncertainty. And for some reason, you're never had a problem with that. You're comfortable going into uncertainty.
It's funny because at the same time, Rebecca, I can't make a choice between super salad, but
That's
I could.
Way too risky. I say some choices aren't either or, they're and. You do both, right?
I like that. I like that.
I don't like I don't like either or kind of logic either. Give me and all the time.
And it should be and, right? So it's T. Harv Eker, who wrote the book The Millionaire Mind, said that millionaires think and not or.
Not or. No. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up on that note because that was like an exclamation mark right there. The millionaire mind thinks in and, not either or. Tom's a great example of that when you watch his career and the way he goes. And it's also an example in how he helps others. So you're kind of like a Clark Kent Superman combination is what you are, right?
I'll take that as a compliment.
There you go. Thanks, Tom. We'll be back for another conversation with you shortly.
Thank you.